Hey there, and welcome into this particular tutorial or this section of the course. In this part, I'm going to show you how you can travel back in time to have conversations with fictional people. Like in this particular case, you can see that is Daenerys Targaryen being interviewed by some guy. Well, that's the thumbnail of the lecture itself or the tutorial itself. I always make thumbnails to just kind of give you an idea about what it is that you're getting going to go into. But pretty much without further ado, let us jump straight to it, shall we? So what is the idea here? Well, the idea is always to provide you with some YouTube niches where you can do well, where there's potential, and this one seems to have some potential, a lot of potential actually, because it's facilitated by a bunch of tools that we're going to explore. So, starting with Google Gemini, which is really the mastermind, it's really going to be the mastermind behind what we're going to do. And Gemini is quite powerful because of Nano Banana. Nano Banana is the image generation tool integrated with Google Gemini, and it's capable of the wildest things. And so that works in our best interest because we are attempting to do some really incredible things and push AI to its limit, which is why it was created in the first place. So here, the model that I use generally is the Pro model, and I'm going to click create an image, and let's get into it. But first, I'd like to show you one thing. If you want to be the interviewer, if you want to be the interviewer in your videos, you can. How? Well, you just need a face. Like for instance, random guy face, okay? I'm just going to take a face from the internet. Well, of course, I'm going to try to get a copyright free face, or you could generate one with AI. But I just want to show you that if you have an image of yourself, you could make yourself an interviewer if you wish. This guy, well, um, he's on Reddit, so that's his profile picture. So particularly, he's not going to be all right with us using his image. This is an AI generated image, by the way, or these are AI generated male face images. So I think it's safe to go and maybe use these ones instead. So I'd like to get a cool journalist looking dude. And out of everybody here, I see this guy out of the bunch of them looks like journalist material, okay? Because he has that face, that open smile. All right. So I'm going to copy this particular one. I don't like the others because they look like they're forcing themselves to smile. Everybody's forcing themselves to smile, whereas this guy's smile comes across as genuine. So I'm going to head straight back to Google Gemini and click the create image button. And of course, make sure that you have the Pro option enabled. Then I could paste this image. And now I'm going to ask Gemini to create a 16 by 9 inches. 16 by 9 inches is friendly for YouTube long form videos. 16 by 9 realistic image of the guy attached interviewing Daenerys. Daenerys. I kind of forgot how her name was written. Daenerys Targaryen in the Iron Throne room. Okay. Um, and well, a realistic. All right, so let's continue. Now, basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to generate a image of this guy, assuming that you want to use your face as the interviewer behind this. And he's just basically interviewing Daenerys Targaryen in the Iron Throne room. Now, I didn't mention anything about camera angles, lighting, so on and so forth. And most of the times that works out pretty nice. And the reason is simply because for these types of things, especially movies that are popular, series that are popular, there is more than enough data for Google Gemini to understand the context, the environment, and how it looks. Now, here, as you can see, this looks quite well, but there is two Daenerys's here, right? Which is kind of weird. And so, therefore, I'm gonna say it's a podcast like scene. Um, they are alone in the throne room. In the background is the empty iron throne, and there is a table. There is an ancient table between both the interviewer and the interviewee, and it's a close. Actually, you know, I think here realistic close-up image, close-up HD image. I could say HD or high definition. Probably high definition is better. All right. Okay. So the reason why I want to go high definition is because if you want to, be the face behind the interview, you could benefit from the potential. Now you could even make like a a fake fight between influencers like Andrew Tate and Chase the Moore, or Andrew Tate and pretty much that guy. What's his name? King Azuli, or some kind of clown like that if you want to. There's plenty of stuff you can do, but I would recommend that you just stick to the legal stuff. I mean, if you can consider this legal, this is just me stretching imagination beyond imagination. Now, let me copy this particular image and show you. So I'm gonna go to Sora, and I'm not talking about the old version of Sora. I am talking about the new version of Sora, the crazy one, the one that is capable of crazy stuff. Okay. And right there, I'm basically going to paste the image. But first, let me check that it's a landscape. Now, at first, I'm simply just going to paste the image. I'm not going to do anything besides pasting the image. Okay. And I'm going to hit submit. Well, they're saying they're under a heavy load. Okay, let me try again. Try again in a few minutes. Okay, well, it seems like Sora is back at it again. So sometimes there's a lot of demand on it, and besides, they're only saying this because I have the normal Chat GPT plan. I only have the Plus plan, so I'm not privileged like the ones that pay $200 a month. For these guys, they will never tell them we're on a heavy load. But anyways, assuming that you want to use another tool. Well, another tool that you could definitely use is Google Gemini's VO3, and there are multiple ways of accessing Gemini's VO3, but one of the easiest ways is through Gemini itself by clicking create a video. Now I'm going to make sure I activate the pro version, and then right here I will paste the image. But not only am I going to paste the image, I'm going to say interview between Daenerys Targaryen and a podcaster. He asks her the question, why do you want the Iron Throne? Okay, let's hit submit. Now, I'm going to let it cook here. I'm going to let it cook. But the tool, to be honest, the tool that is the best when it comes to such an application is definitely Sora. But it seems like not really responding well. Let me try to go with 10 seconds instead. See what it does. If it still tells me it's on the heavy load, come on. Come on, Sora. Come on. This is one of the first times I actually get this heavy load stuff all the time. I should usually be able to generate videos without an issue like the other guys. All right, I guess we just have to be patient with this. Come on, that's getting weird. It's getting weird. Heavy load. I mean, come on, come on. All right, well, let's go back to Google Veo 3. Well, Google Veo 3 is still working on this. You could make an interview with Jon Snow for all I care. But the bottom line is that you must understand the capacities of these tools and how much you can stretch it. You can to the point where you can even go back in history and do these kinds of interviews. Now, let me download this particular video because I hate to watch it inside of Gemini because it keeps replaying and it's also a very small window.
Why do you want the Iron Throne?
Here we are. Now, I think I have to add the sound. Let's watch this. Let's see how cool this is.
Why do you want the Iron Throne?
It is my birthright. It is my destiny to rule the Seven Kingdoms and break the wheel.
Yeah, well, that's not bad. That's not bad. Now, the voiceover is technically not her voice, but if you want to, probably add some advanced Daenerys Targaryen deepfake voice, which I would recommend you not to do. You can actually create voice clones out there using tools like 11 Labs, which I'm not going to touch upon right now. But if we generated the same scene with Sora, it would enable us to generate a bigger scene, like a 15-second scene. Plus, it will enable us not only to generate the scene, but to also do one crazier thing, and that is it will generate a scene with the voiceover of the actress herself. That's how crazy Sora is. For instance, let me show you something here. So this is The Godfather.
We'll make him an offer he can't refuse. Look at these little rascals.
All right, you can see that is the Godfather movie. All right, and they kind of made like a deep fake scene for TikTok or whatever, but that's in the voice of the actor himself. Right, that's exactly his voice. Right, it's not somebody else. Now they're all also doing like
I didn't stab her. She just ran into my knife.
That's enough. I sentence you to 10 trillion years in the Diddy room.
Let's go, sir. Wait, what? No, I don't want to be Diddy.
Move it.
No.
Here, that is the voiceover of what's his name? I kind of forgot his name. Peter. Yeah, Peter. How could I forget? Now you can see that if you do it with Sora, it will do a fantastically tremendous job. Okay, now it seems like I'm gonna have to maybe try to switch back and forth from the new Sora to old Sora and try again because this is kind of horrendous right now. It's getting horrendous. I'm able to generate scenes without this. Sometimes they kind of give me that old. We have a heavy load, but not this much. Okay, well, anyways, I'm going to call it a day. Okay, I'm going to call it a day. I'm gonna wait. And let's see what's with this heavy load stuff. Now, let's say that, for example, you want to do a fight. Well, not a fight. Now, this should not actually be in this session, but if you're interested, for the interest of the interested, of the fans, let's take Andrew Tate. Even though I'm not a big fan. If you are a big fan, it's your prerogative. But let's say we want to take Mr. Andrew the Cobra Tate, the guy who lost to an influencer. Not even an influencer. He's a reality TV star. Andrew Tate. Well, actually, I'm looking for like a picture of him where he's always flexing his muscle. Okay, so let's copy this image right here and head straight back to Sora, not Sora, Gemini, and I'm gonna paste this. How about some other guy. Actually, instead of King Azuli, why not Myron from Fresh and Fit? You know, because that guy is like his best buddy. He's like his idol, or his idol is Andrew Tate. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's in a perfect physique. He's actually quite quite um, quite well in terms of his physical look. All right, so I'm going to paste this right here. Click create an image. Now, create a 16 by 9 realistic close up image of a Misfits boxing match between Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines. All right, they are inside the ring. It's on. Okay, let's hit submit. Now let's see, because it might say, "Oh no, can't do it." It might, but know that it has the potential of doing so. Now let me try to see if I can generate something with Sora. I mean, I'm kind of tired of it telling me that old fashioned thing of I'm not able. All right, but in any case, all right. So here you can see it kind of did generate an image, but the one of Myron, it didn't do a pretty fine job. For Andrew, it got him quite right, but for Myron, not so much. So let me try it again. Let me try it again, but this time I'm going to try it with a picture close up of Mr. Myron Gaines. A picture where we can, see his face. I mean, even though that's really not, my cup of tea, but all right, let's just pick this out. Let's just check this out. All right, so okay. Now, of course, this is just like I would say just a moment of having fun. I mean, got no beef with nobody, but you can do weird stuff. You can actually even do like a weird confrontation between uh Ali Sobe and that guy, the bearded guy, what's his name? King Azuli or whatever he calls himself. Um, you know, you can do like like a face off between Harry Potter and Voldemort. I've seen some weird stuff that people are doing. Now they kind of don't really get Myron's face right, from for the most part. I don't know why they make Andrew Tate look a lot better than he would be in a boxing ring, but in any case, you can see what these tools are capable of. How about if I want to say a close up of a Misfits instead of boxing match, face off this time, face off, okay? And you could even ask it to like make Dana White the guy behind the face off. I'll make sure to do it because I really want to point a finger at how capable this tool is and how much you can use it to build your AI brand, because now is the time to build an AI brand. And if you are watching my content, you would be more than able to do that. All right. Now, again, this one, I'm not going to lie, they kind of got it right. All right. Misfits, or actually, instead of a Misfits this time, I'm going to say a UFC face off between Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines. Dana White um, is organizing the event. Now, if you're seeing some deep fakes out there and you don't really know how they're done, and for the most part, you're thinking, how can they make these like weird confrontations and face-offs between like Einstein and Tesla, Nikola Tesla, or a UFC fight between Einstein and whatever his name is, what Newton, Isaac Newton. Then this is how. Okay, first you generate the image, then you turn the image into a video. Now, all right. So I mean, look at this. Isn't this like a really really legit? Doesn't it look absolutely real? Well, it actually does. Now, let me just do something here. Let me try to see if this may pass on Sora. I don't think Sora is gonna recognize Myron Gaines. Not that he's not famous. I mean, he is famous. He's He's quite successful in his own right. If you want to, talk success and let's talk facts, the guy is, has a lot of fame, but I don't think that he would be as recognized by Sora as Dana White and Andrew Tate. I think those guys, they might actually be a little more recognized. It seems like here Sora is still giving me that old thing of I can't. But how about this? How about if you want to use like another tool, right? I have a way of using Sora, which I'm gonna do because Sora here is forcing my hand. I have another way of using Sora through Leonardo AI, but let's just use Grok. Let me show you also. Let me show you the potential of Grok. So if I were to copy paste this image into the Imagine feature in Grok, is this about looks maxing or something? I saw some video right there generated by somebody. Come on, man. I mean, I think it's enough with that looks maxing. Now, Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines face off. Okay, let's see. Now, of course, I don't recommend that you go ahead and do this. But if you ever end up doing something like this, know that it's completely illegal. Um, right? Especially, these guys are kind of petty. So, for the most part, they're not really going to let you slide and they're not really going to let you have a good day with it. So, you can do it for fun, but just don't go posting this stuff online about, kind of, especially people with a relatively soft ego that would take it so personally and they would start, coming after you. But we have used this example just to kind of show you.
You think you can handle this? I know I can. You're all talk. Gentlemen, keep it verbal.
Oh,
We'll
no,
see.
no, 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 no. That needs to be cut. That needs to be cut. I said face off. Ronnie, if you're watching, I'm talking to my editor, Ronnie, cut that scene from the. My goodness, man, I didn't expect that. I absolutely didn't expect it. I said a face off, but Grok went crazy with that. But in any case, let's just switch to the Daenerys kind of stuff. But in this case, instead of Daenerys, I'm gonna try like a new character. Let's switch to Pro, create an image, and then right here, interview between Daenerys Targaryen and a podcaster. He asks her the question, "Why do you want the Iron Throne?" But in this case, let's say it's not Daenerys. Like for example, what's the character Xerxes? Xerxes, yeah, that's his name. Xerxes, but I think it's with a double X. Xerxes, yes, yes. Xerxes and a podcaster, he asks him the question, why do you want to rule Greece? And I didn't specify exactly where they are. I said close up, create a 16 by 9 close up image or realistic image of the interview between Xerxes and blah, blah, blah. And let me just actually, in this case, I don't need to, get a face and put a face behind it, like of someone. So I'll call it a day. But Grok is kind of weird, man. It's really kind of weird. I am pretty sure that this is about this is definitely about that. Okay, so here it seems like it didn't do a pretty good job. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start a new chat, create an image, and I'm gonna go and grab like an image of Xerxes because it seems like it didn't know what he looks like. Attached is a picture of Xerxes for reference. Do a perfect job and make sure that what Well, make sure that okay. Make sure that. Well, what do I want to make sure of? Xerxes is extremely tall, okay, and strong, whatever. I mean, because Xerxes is actually really tall. Look at Xerxes and what's his name, King Leonidas. Xerxes is actually significantly taller. It's like your Shaquille O'Neal with your regular dude in the streets. So that's how, and that's because he went through. A lot of people don't know this, but Xerxes actually went through a transformation through a river or something like that, and that's what made him look like this. So he turned into like a sort of a demigod or something. So in other words, he is like a demigod. Close up realistic image of uh, of an interview, and I'm gonna say both are sitting on the podcasting table and talking. No text. Okay, I'm gonna mention no text. Now, enough with podcasting because you don't necessarily just have to do this kind of like podcasting stuff or podcasting interview between this guy and that guy because you can actually do the real deal. Like, and by the way, remember that this image you can transform it into a video if you seek to do that. But how about this? How about this? Create an image, paste. I'm gonna use the pro version. Let's say create a 16 by 9 realistic image that takes us back in time of Xerxes, the Persian demigod king. He is extremely tall. It's ancient Persia inside his golden, luxurious, godly castle. And he is interviewed, and he is asked questions by a random citizen from the future. Okay, let's hit submit on that. Seems like something went wrong there. Okay, I think that it's about the image. Let me try to get Xerxes. I'm gonna try to get the previous image that I got. In this one, he's actually standing. You have to really commend this guy because the shape that he's in for the movie is quite fantastic, and also Leonidas with Gerald Butler, and the other guys. It's incredibly interesting. But he's definitely not like that tall. They made him tall using VFX for the movie. The guy that acted Xerxes is not that tall. Xerxes actor, what's his name? Yeah, Rodrigo Santoro. Oh yeah, he's 6'2", so that's not short, but it's definitely not the height that he's at in the movie. All right, now this is way too big. I mean, never takes us back in time. Instead of saying he's extremely tall, I'm just gonna say it's ancient Persia inside a golden, luxurious, godly castle. A realistic, close-up, realistic image. So both are standing. Okay, both are standing. The interviewer and the interviewee are actually standing. Now you could even interview Pharaoh for all I care. You can use AI to make it seem like you're interviewing Pharaoh. You can use AI to make it seem like you're interviewing King Kong, or whatever character you want to do. But know that it can do anything. I mean, I hate that point where I did that Andrew Tate deep fake with Myron Gaines, which kind of turned south. But here, this is not bad, but it should be taller. I'm gonna say Xerxes is 6 foot or is 2 meter 40, and the man and the interviewer is like okay, 180 centimeters, or 1 meter 80. All right. I guess that Xerxes is kind of like the Zeus version of for the Persians. It's like Zeus for Greece, and we have Xerxes for the Persians. But the movie kind of depicted him as this weak individual. He's not weak at all, Xerxes. Even in the movie, in the first movie, he just has so much ego that he didn't want to move when Leonidas threw that spear at him. Okay, but he's a fighter as well. So I mean, check this out. This is his axe. All right, so he's definitely not a weak. If he fought Leonidas, he could definitely beat Leonidas easily, but he just doesn't want to fight. He only wants to rule. Okay, well, okay, is 2 meter 40. Okay, let's say Xerxes is sitting on his incredible throne. They kind of didn't do a pretty good job there, but we can fix this. All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna try ChatGPT. I'm gonna try Sora for this. The old version of Sora, that is. Not this new one, because I'm not satisfied with this result. I think we can do better. Let me switch to the old Sora. Okay, I'm gonna switch to image as the type, 3x2. Now, this one is hilariously crazy. I mean, their minds are really going, into different places. Okay, so as for Xerxes, this time I'm gonna find like an image of him just standing instead of. Okay, so let me try Sora and see if it's gonna do well. I'm gonna attach the image as a reference. Let's see, because for the most part, Sora tends to kind of say that this is against their policies, so they might reject this for the most part. But if they don't reject it, then chances are we're gonna get a pretty legit cool video or cool image. Not to say that this one is not great, but this is definitely not the best we could do, because he's not this big. He's just 60 centimeters taller than the average guy. Okay. We could try the same with Grok, by the way. We could let's try using this prompt with Grok, though it's gonna probably have lower chances. But with Grok, you can also generate images, not only videos. And those images that you generate, you can turn them into videos easily. But Grok is not so good with image creation. It still has a leap to make. In terms of video creation, I would put it right up there with Sora 2 and with Google Veo 3. But when it comes to image generation, it's really not very accurate like Google Gemini, which is understandable because Google Gemini has access to Google, and Google has a wide library. So here it did a pretty good job, but this is not Xerxes, okay? And yes, even if you add the image as a reference, it still is not going to get the job done. But as opposed to that, when you look at Sora, here Sora rejected this. I was expecting that. So that's kind of like the bad thing about Sora, is it constantly rejects that kind of stuff. Now here, let me remove the notion of the height. And let's see if it's going to make it believable this time. Switch back to the new version of Sora.
Take out
anime made with Sora. And like I said, the crazy thing about Sora is that you can do voice and video are very accurate. So if you take that Daenerys image that we created earlier, it's going to do a pretty accurate job. All right, well, this one is actually better, I would say. If I were to paste this in Sora, let's see what it does. Again, with Sora, you just want to paste an image. At first, you just want to generate the video just based on the image, no prompt, because Sora is pretty good at understanding what the image is about. Now here you can see it's still telling me it's under heavy load. Come on, that's kind of weird, considering that just yesterday I was able to generate images or videos. Let me try to switch to this. Let's check this out again. Okay, let me try to switch to portrait. Still, there's something wrong here. Okay, if I insist on using Sora, I'm gonna go to Leonardo AI, even though I'm gonna have to use some tokens, but I'm gonna go to Leonardo AI for the simple fact of using Sora to run an animation. Okay, so here, video, and oh, come on, not this time. All right, so yeah, I hate to use some tokens because I'm using Leonardo for another purpose, but I guess I have no choice. So here, let's just go Sora 2. There's the Sora 2, the normal Sora, and there's the Pro Sora, which takes quite some tokens. It really is not easy on the tokens at all. So you know what? Definitely not going to use it this time, okay? Sorry to say that, but I have 30 tokens 30 credits for free for on Sora 2, but today they're not letting me use that. But in any case, the most important thing really is to generate the images. It's not so much the prompt itself, or not so much the Sora itself, but again, let's run it again. See if we're gonna get rid of that curse of right. Okay, King Xerxes. Let me try adding a prompt instead of just a image. Still, what is going on here? Heavy load, heavy load. Oh, come on. That's kind of weird. All right. Well, not a big deal. By the way, you can also do interviews of animals, right? So, for example, let's say create a 16 by 9 inches image, realistic close-up image of a guy asking a lion some questions. The microphone is placed close to the lion's mouth to answer it. I've seen some channels doing this. Let me show you some examples. AI animal interviews. I think one was hugely successful last time I checked. AI animal interviews. Some people are also doing some fun clips. I think it's this one. Yes, yes, yes. It's Impossible Tales. The channel's name is Impossible Tales. They're already at 24,000 subscribers, which is a huge accomplishment in and of itself. And they're at 7 million views. And considering that most of their views, they don't come from shorts. I think their most popular short is like 671,000, but that's not really so much, considering that they have some videos, popular videos at 288, 200. So let's say that they got like 4 million views only from long video form content. How much could they get paid for this in terms of the average CPM? I would say probably like $2 or $3 per thousand views. So they didn't really make like tremendous money. They probably got like from 5K to 10K from this channel here. But it's a huge accomplishment if you think about the fact that this is just AI stuff, right? So you're just using AI to do these interviews. Okay, now going back, so you can see here that this is what I'm talking about. If I wanted to animate this, I'll copy this image and go to a new chat and use the pro version of not of Gemini and use the Veo 3.1 inside of Gemini. I'm going to say funny interview between a reporter and a lion. Okay, and I can hit submit on that. Now, if you want to do like an interview between a lion and a wolf, you can do it. Like for example, in this case, this guy is making interviews with cheetahs and lions and
What's the best smell in the world? A leaky trash can behind a fancy restaurant. Oh my God, it smells like hope.
So what's your secret to such a magnificent mane?
Oh, just a little bit of pride and a lot of conditioning.
What's your big...
Now he's using Veo 3, definitely, I can tell. So it turns well for us, but you get the idea. And I mean, I want you to look at the comments because there's a lot of comments. And whenever there's a lot of comments, you have to know that YouTube will definitely at one point in time push this video to a lot more views, because what YouTube looks for really is likes, shares, comments. That's it. Okay, likes, shares, comments. If the ratio of likes, shares, comments is unusual, it's actually really huge, then that kind of, for YouTube, it kind of gives them the idea that this video is extremely viral, okay, and that it deserves to be pushed to a little more people. They might take some time to do it, but it usually happens more often than not. Now over here we have another example. This one is another channel, but this guy is far too successful. Like he has 242,000 subscribers, and he's doing these AI videos of like is this a monkey? What type of monkey? I don't know, maybe like the orangutan. And he's just making like deepfakes videos of this. It seems like he's a huge fan of the orangutan. It's been quite some time that he didn't release a lot of videos, but for the videos that he did release, he kind of got huge success. I gotta say, he got huge success. And you know, now let's go back to our video inside of Gemini. Now let me just download this. Okie dokie. So if I were to go
Many
inside,
believe the grasslands belong to everyone. What's your rebuttal? A forceful defense of the status quo.
now I don't like the fact that at the
Many
end,
believe the status quo.
it removed the microphone, but you can see that it's not such a bad video. Okay, no, I still insist that Sora will do a better job, but if only Sora could respond right now. Let me try this, because Sora can be much more funny and much more realistic, especially with real looking images. Let me try it one more time. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna really call it up. Oh, come on, you know, that's just not good at all. But you get the point. These types of videos, they can get the traction. Now, okay, let's just for example here, let's go to create images, and then I'm going to say, instead of a lion, I'm going to say now the interviewer is interviewing a wolf. The same interviewer, just to maintain some consistency, the same interviewer is interviewing a wolf. And yes, it will take you some. If you want to use VO3, it will take some investment. If you want to generate like 10 videos with VO3, you're gonna have to purchase a $29.99 plan in labs.google, which gives you access to generate like 10 videos with VO3, which is about 80 seconds of content. But you can see what people are doing with 80 seconds of content. They're putting it into videos, and then they're getting views with it. That's the thing. They're getting views with it. They can turn that. You can turn that into like a business. It's not 100% guaranteed that it might be successful, but if you want to do this, if you want to give this a try, you can give this a try. Now, instead of just the wolf, I could say in the Arctic, because the wolf usually doesn't live in that environment. It doesn't live in hot environment. It lives in cold environments, environments that because the wolf is kind of that has the fur and all. It's not like the lion and the other animals. The wolves are pretty inside. They're hot, so they need a colder weather. For example, here you can see that this is a pretty nice one. Okay, and this can be a subject to a pretty good video. Now, how about now the same interviewer is interviewing a polar bear in the Arctic, and we can hit submit. Okay, we can hit submit on that one, and I'm pretty sure it's going to do a fantastic job at that. Let's see. You can even interview Lord Voldemort, All right, we'll do Lord Voldemort. It will be the last part, but let's check this one out. Now, the bear looks pretty small. Might say it's a female, not fully grown polar bear, but generally the polar bear is much bigger than that, at least 3 times bigger. Okay, so now let's move on to a new chat. Create an image. I create a realistic looking 16:9 image, close up of someone talking to Lord Voldemort, asking him questions. Okay, and it's gonna go and do this. If you want the perfect video, use Sora. All right, now we're gonna push Sora, not Sora. We're gonna push AI here to a pretty fine imagination. So now right here, I think I'm going to get one of my images. Right, let me get some of my images. Just one of my images, and then I shall create an image of me standing in a high quality Iron Man like lab. It's a 16 by 9 close up image, realistic, high definition. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to, before we move on, I'm trying to show you the power of animation using starting and ending frame. Okay. If you seek to kind of do some amazing transformational images. Now it seems like here I didn't activate the pro version of Gemini. Now the pro version of Gemini is kind of, to be honest, it's kind of necessary if you want to create the images that I want to create, or in similar quality images. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the job done. Okay, so right now it's working on it, and then I'm going to ask it right after that to create a pretty cool image of myself, but I'm going to have like the suit on. Now here, I don't like that. I don't like the lighting. I'll say I am standing straight and match the lighting. Because the lighting of that picture was sunny, so my face is exposed to the sun. And so therefore, if it's going to make an image of me in a studio, it better make it look nice, and it better make the lights look like they're pretty much accurate. It seems like here it's saying I'm just a language model, blah blah blah. Okay, so let me start a new chat here. Pro, create an image. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. All right, well, let's just wait, see. All right, so it got the image right now. It did generate it. Okay, so right now I'm gonna say, now I must have the Iron Man suit on. Even though this is not really the best image by far, I could have done a better job at the request, or I could have probably used a better image of myself instead of that image where I have my hands crossed. Okay, now actually I must have the Iron Man armor on. When it says this kind of stuff, you can just work around it sometimes by changing a couple of things. All right, seems like it's still added. Okay, create an image, fast, actually pro. Say, change my clothing to Iron Man armor. Well, it seems like Iron Man seems to be such a uncharted territory. Why are they so afraid of Iron Man? Okay, change my clothing to a robot like armor. All right, all right. It's kind of weird that they can do everything, but the Iron Man they come, and they just don't want to do it. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Let's see. Let's see. If it's not gonna do it, I'm just gonna quit on the project. All right, but it seems like they kind of did. All right, at the end, I'm gonna say I must have a robot helmet as well. They kind of even changed my position, but at least they didn't change the background itself. Where is the robot helmet to protect my face? They just don't want to hide my face for some reason. Maybe they kind of like my face or something. Okay, so first let me just download this one. In the meantime, I'm just gonna wait for Gemini to just generate the second image, hopefully. Okay, again. I think I'm just gonna have to use this one, to be honest. Okay, so here, downloads, call this robot 2. Now I have 2 images, and now I'm gonna use inside of 11 Labs, since I have some tokens, I can use VO3 here. So I'm going to be using the best version of VO3, VO 3.1, and I'm actually going to generate like 8 seconds. And I'm going to make sure the sound is on. I can go for 6. HD. All right, so I'm going to use my starting frame would be that robot image, and the ending frame would be myself transformed completely as a robot. And then I'm going to say suit on mechanical cool sounds transformation. Hopefully they just do this without further issues, because for the most part with this tool, the thing I don't like with 11 Labs is that you can use VO3, but there's just so many policy violations it would. Okay, the content failed. Let me try Leonardo instead of VO3. I'm just gonna try like I'm gonna try Kling AI. You know, these tools can be really frustrating at times, but it's okay. Okay. I'm going to go for Kling 01, 16:9, and I'll just go and start adding these images. This is the start frame. Let me go and add the end frame. This is the end frame. And so here I'm going to transformation. Mechanical transformation. Now, Kling doesn't generate videos with sound, but at least for the most part, it might not reject what we're trying to do here. Now, one more thing. always remember that you have Grok, and that Grok can do some crazy thing. Imagine I can paste the image, and you can edit that image into transforms into Iron Man. And I can hit submit. And for the most part, Grok doesn't really have any issue with these. So if I were to put, or basically just who's the first when it comes to letting you do and letting you create, most of the things you want to create, I think that Grok is at the top. It's so difficult to violate Grok's policies because they're enabling you to do a lot of stuff without breaking the policy barrier. So for example, you notice right here that kind of got it
9-9 acting.
easily. Now I don't like the sound, but just the video itself is actually amazing. It's perfect. It's actually more than perfect. All right, you can see that that's actually pretty nice. Now, let me just get back to show you Kling's version. Now with that start frame and end frame, not so bad as well, right? Definitely not so bad. And this, ladies and gentlemen, are some of the things that you can do with AI. I hope that you've learned some new tricks in this master section. Wishing you the best as always. Passive Income Gen Z signing out.